Nay.
Nay.
Hey.
Hey.
It's really bright in
Hey.
here.
And now, from a horse trailer from his backyard, Jem.
We've got a theme song.
Thought we needed that.
So good.
I like your little audio panels behind you.
Oh yeah, I installed some sound deadening this morning in the last 20 minutes.
I was wondering how horrible it's going to be because you showed me like previews of like it really sparse from one side and I was like, oh, that's going to be a tin can. That'll be good.
It is a tin can, yeah.
It's pretty nice.
The internet's pretty horrible in here.
It's actually pretty good.
Really? Good. Sounds
Probably
okay,
have extra special lag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
That's
Hi.
all right. It's doing all right.
Hello,
How
old
are you?
friend. I'm all right. Good to be here.
You've slept enough.
I've slept enough. Just enough. Network is struggling, it's saying. I think I'm
Just
struggling too.
Jem's network is struggling.
My neural net. Yeah, definitely. Nah, getting just enough to be
You
kind of
have a
functional.
neural net now.
Oh, yeah. I wish. Yeah, you know this stage. It's just newborn stage. There's some evolutionary trick that makes you forget about this and how hectic it is, I think. And then get woken up
Especially
every
more
hour.
in the birthing partner.
Yeah. So yeah, 3.5 weeks in, and we're just at that like getting woken up. Yeah, very broken sleep, but that is okay.
Yep.
Otherwise, everything's going about as well as it
Yeah.
could. So yeah, it's all right.
It's really good. You know, what's amazing about this shot is like it looks like you have a green screen behind you, but the green screen is just a horse trailer. Like, it looks
real.
really good. It looks
real.
really good.
I got the sun beaming in. I'm gonna be sun
You know,
into this.
I was wondering how hot it was in there. It's also toasty in here, so
Nice.
may not be the longest show. No, I'm glad to hear that. We've texted a little bit and saw some shots of your new little one. It looks adorable. Glad to hear everything's I look up and Jim's got a hood on now. I get it. It's going to be very sunburned.
Oh yeah, she's going really well. It's good. Happy little bub. So yeah,
That's good.
Laura's good.
Good.
The other kids are happy. Not trying to.
How are the other two adjusting?
Yeah, they've
Yeah.
adjusted really well. They're not trying to destroy their new sibling or sabotage her anyway. They seem pretty
That's
happy
good.
and keen,
It's very good.
enthusiastic
Yeah.
older siblings. So yeah, all good. And just kind of,
Good.
this is our third kiddo, so I should know how this works by now, but it's still a shock to the system. And
Nah.
it's the first time I haven't been able to take proper leave from work. So that's been interesting, challenging, a new challenge of like trying to stay somewhat on top of work situation, keep things moving.
Yeah.
But it's been okay. I'm kind of just putting out fires, basically. I've got just enough time and energy to do the critical things and keep things moving. And it's okay. Yeah.
It's better than not. I mean, it's better than not having help or like having just hired a couple people that don't know what's going on or something. I mean, not to say that it feels good, I'm sure, in the end. Like you wish you could just walk away and everything be fine. I'm sure I would have. I wanted that, and it
Yeah.
definitely wasn't that for me. So
Yeah.
I get that feeling.
Yeah, no, it's tricky balance, but it's going okay. I think I'd be feeling better about it if we didn't have this one like overhanging, really non-ideal job that's all in my head and
Ooh.
requiring me to get back in the shop and actually make things because I haven't done a crap job of delegating the design or even the making of this thing. And the guys in the shop are doing really well.
It's not our old
They're
friend, is it?
No, God, no. I'm not touching our old friend.
Good.
No. No, it's an interesting job, and like it's my own doing that I kind of overcomplicated the design It was something we pitched like 3 months ago when we were really desperate for work. We won the job, which is good, but now kind of regretting that to some extent. And I'll be happier once this is done and out the door and I can focus on the important things again. But yeah, how are you going?
Right.
What's that? What's news?
Oh, man, so much. All of the stuff.
It's happening in America.
No, I think things have gone... Well, America's a different story. We're going to skip that.
Your little corner.
Yeah. Let's see. I was trying to think of like, is it worth a recap? I mean, the recap is tooling has been selling pretty well. Kind of better than I thought it would in the regard of I finally made a YouTube video that the algorithm liked, people seem to like, and it like kind of blew away every past video kind of metric that we've had. Kind of immediately just shot to the top of all my, you know, they always show you like the previous 10 videos and how they're ranking against this as like a way to gauge its performance. And it was like 4,000 views, and the previous one before that was like 600.
Which video
like in
is
the
this?
first day. So this is like basically like the how-to video on how to cut plywood.
The plywood one. Yeah, of course.
But I
awesome.
spent like a week and a half literally shooting, reshooting, editing, and normally I kind of just like one take shoot everything, and like I was really trying to make it, I keep joking, like keep trying to channel as much as I can my Mr. Beast inside me, like just trying to like make it entertaining, keeping people's attention.
Let
like,
the beast
and
out,
normally
Justin.
that's exactly right. I tried. And it just, you know, it did a lot better. It's slowly kind of trickled away, but like that generated a decent amount of tooling sales, which surprised me to no end because I thought, oh, the video's doing good on the first day, and then all of a sudden we started selling tooling kits, and I was like, oh, didn't really think that was going to happen. And so it's been a really nice. I was glad to have spent so much time on it that it turned into being kind of a new blueprint for how I can make videos, and maybe on the outside it wasn't that different necessarily, but for me it was really different, like making it.
That's cool. And you've got that thing under it where you've got your own products listed. I was about to ask, and then I looked and I was like, hey, that's cool. Can you
That's a thing
tell
that
if you get
YouTube came out with
from those?
Yes, you can. It's pretty effective. So do you remember when I switched from Squarespace to Shopify for our CNC products? It's like almost 2 years ago now. I think we were talking about it then. And the big urge was a couple things. We couldn't manage shipping very well. There's a bunch of limitations in terms of like how you could show products and variants on Squarespace. But then the third thing was YouTube was starting to offer Shopify integration that way. So it's basically automatic, and I can pick which products I want to show on each YouTube video, or it can kind of like automate it. And so, I mean, that video was like the first time I really saw like on the day of Jim's gonna melt. Oh no. It looks very warm. So
Yeah.
So anyway, that was the first time I've ever really seen like a big result for me anyway from making something. So I think that's the biggest.
That's awesome.
Notable thing. And so I've been like on this urge to like, let's make more videos, and I have a couple I'm working on, and there's a bunch of, handful of reasons why they're not out yet. But yeah, that's kind of my top news, I suppose. Really excited about that.
I'm interested when and where do you find the headspace to shoot videos in the shop? Do you have to do it when you're solo, or can you do it when you've got Ricky around? Like, what's your headspace need to be like?
Sometimes I can't, but I have forced myself to become comfortable being a talking head in front of Ricky. There's a point I don't know, maybe this is obvious from listening to the podcast. I have a fairly like undiagnosed dyslexia, meaning like it's fairly strong in terms of like I'll start to say stuff that I want to record to the camera and it just like comes out like mixed up or backwards, or I'll say the wrong word. So I'll do like an intro to that plywood video like 40 times, like in 2 different sessions. It was like a lot trying to get it just right this time. So that gets a little
Word salad with
embarrassing to the
Justin.
point of like, yeah, right, let's do this by myself. But often Ricky is really kind and he doesn't really laugh too much. But yeah,
Not too much.
this was also not too much when it's fair and appropriate. This time, it was another moment for me that was new and interesting about that was because we sold a decent amount of product because of the video, it was immediately clear like, oh, I should prioritize this. This should be
Yeah.
a thing I do. Not that I didn't know that, but like most of the time it's like educational or additional on top of everything else I'm working on, you know? Like, oh, let's make a video about this fusion thing. That's not making me any money. Usually I'm losing money to make those videos, right? Like they're just kind of like fun. And this one was like, holy crap, like if I make more of these, can I sell more things? So that was a nice little conclusion too.
That's awesome. Good focus around a product line. Great sort of on-point content, like such a popular topic, I think, or broad-reaching topic. Like it's nice to see so many comments on your video. Like, is it unusual to get 60, 70 comments as well?
This early for sure. Like what's crazy is to compare it to like the top video we have is like this from 2019. I did one on CNC routing aluminum, and like it's in terms of like revenue was never a thing. So like I think I made $120 on it or something already, which woo, okay. But it's nice to see. But like the amount of followers, there's almost 400 people have followed from that video, and that's also like I'll get a few, but like maybe 30 on a good video after 2 months. But like this is just every metric was way better. So I was like really, as I already said, just really nice to be rewarded. And it was like I felt like I told Aaron and Ricky and other people as I was kind of bashing my head against trying to make it and improve it, I felt like I kind of went back to school a little bit, in that I had this time period in school where I was a million ideas, but I wasn't good at executing any of them. And I felt like I was relearning how to make a video again, which seems extreme, but it was like, I was taking away all my normal like sensibilities, I suppose, and trying to make, and it's probably not obvious from watching it, like I said, but for me, it was a big jump.
Yeah, fantastic. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I'll definitely check it out. Review the beast.
You know how to cut plywood?
Yeah. I'm more interested from a Justin Makes Videos perspective. Yeah, I ask about the headspace thing because I've always struggled to be a talking head when there's anyone else around. Like, that's why I lock myself in that back room at work to make the silly videos.
That surprises me.
And yeah, I find that difficult. That one that I made a few months ago where I was swearing a lot, like the pricing complaint video, that was the first one I made. There was no one else in the room, but there were other people at work, like within eyeshot. Like I was in the office, there were guys in the workshop. They could see I was making a video, and like I was quite self-conscious about standing there in the office on camera and like cursing at the microphone.
Right.
But it was the first time I managed to sort of break
and they just
that
thought you were losing
awkwardness. Well, no, they know I make these videos. It's not, no secret. Like they knew it was pretty evident what I was doing. But I felt quite awkward in that situation, but got decent results out of it. Like I was really happy with that footage, and that was kind of the first time I'd managed to do that. And so I need to do that more, and I'd like to get to a point where I feel comfortable doing that out in the shop with other people around too.
Right. One of the things some of it's related in no way critically to who I work with, right? Like, but I think there's a lot of value, and I can see this being really successful for your shop. I'll send you this guy I follow. He does this where they kind of engage the rest of the team, right? Like ask them a question or like, and that's very like common TikTok-y kind of content, right? Where you're like, oh, tell me your favorite drink. They
What's
work at a
Justin
coffee
wearing
shop
today?
and they tell them their favorite drink. Yeah, right. Why did you wear that today?
Fit check.
You can do fit to see, but I think that could be. I'm not that people don't love your content and your engagement anyway, but I could see that being if other people are on to be on camera, it takes the pressure off you to be the star too, and you can just produce the videos as a larger whole rather than needing to be in front. But like I would like that kind of concept too, where you mic up a couple people, Ricky and I, and we were talking about how to do that, how to make a video about. Lose you?
Nah, you're back.
Trying to make a video, right, where it's like, for example, wanting to share the design process of a project or a product, and that usually happens off it will always happen off camera because it's kind of messy and hard to film, and like how do you bring that to a video in a way that's interesting but also doesn't affect like how you're making something really strongly.
Yeah, I know. Cool. Success.
Yeah.
What else is happening?
I want to know about your enormous, what you call it, a wardrobe. You just posted it. That thing
The
looked crazy.
robe. Yeah, it was big. It's much bigger than it looked in Rhino.
It was giant.
Yeah, it was the Kit Apart's robe. I think it's the third robe that we've made officially. Yeah, we've had a few clients who are keen to do some kiddo robes, and like this one was big. Like it was 3.2 by 2.6 meters high, 590 deep, and it's interesting the way Kit Apart scales. It kind of challenges immediately crop up with sort of mainly around the panels and getting them to sort of fit nicely, because we've got these long dowels that are almost 1.4 meters long. And then the cove where the panels are supposed to engage with the dowel works well on small panels, but then like when you've got a long wiggly stick of dowel, it's not necessarily perfectly straight, and sort of all of these little sort of scaling issues that start to crop up when you do something that big. And they become quite awkward to put together too, because they're obviously wider than a standard sheet of plywood, so they've got joins in them, and like we're using lamellos for joining the long shelves together. Anyway, it all went together beautifully in the end. It looks fantastic, but there were definitely challenges with it, and it's definitely want to do more with it, but I can't imagine. I think I've got a creature climbing the trailer. It's a child.
I was
Please
wondering-
hold.
Oh. It's a
Who is
roo.
it? I'm being invaded.
Show yourself.
Snacks from the eldest. Thank you, Daddy. What is it?
Snacks and sunscreen.
Sunscreen, yeah. Thanks, Dad. Present. Thanks, mate.
It's cute.
Yep. Well played. Well played. Get my hay net out. Have a feed.
Had too much time to prepare.
Excellent. I've totally forgotten what I was saying. But the compound sort of scaling issues.
I wonder why.
So they get quite fiddly to assemble, which is a pity, because we'd love to sort of ship. It's only supposed to be modular. It's supposed to be flat pack. We'd love to sort of ship these interstate, but the concept of a client putting them together themselves, so I don't think we're quite there yet. But funnily enough, the last one that we shipped, which wasn't quite this big, but it was pretty similar in terms of scale. We shipped it to a client called Shelley, and didn't hear from Shelley. I knew the packages had arrived, and we're all kind of nervous over the weekend of like, oh, how's it going to go? Because we'd done a test assemble. We kind of knew what was involved. Anyway, I texted the client Monday and got a text back, and she was like, yeah, it's done. Did it all by myself. It's like, wow. Do you want a job? Like, that's really impressive.
We are hiring.
Anyway, it turns out she was a mechanical engineer, and she just got like these boxes of parts and just like really systematically sort of laid it all out, wrapped her head around it, and just smashed it out, put it together. It was awesome. But unfortunately, I don't think all of our clients are necessarily
No,
capable of that. And yeah, so we've got a lot of work to
Right.
do with that system to kind of try and refine it and make it more user friendly. But there's a certain point too, like it's got, it's got draw runners and all different sorts of hardware in it. And it's like, there's just stuff in there which will always be a bit of a technical hurdle for people to tune up themselves. And I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, it's tricky. So for now, we'll just try and install them.
The first thing I think I thought of when I saw it, other than being very impressed, was somebody pulled out like a drawer, like a wire mesh drawer kind of thing. And I was like, man, did you find drawers that fit in your, or did everything just line up in the way that's like perfect? Like, how did you find drawers that fit your kit of parts dimensions? Was my first thought, but maybe you just kind of shifted stuff.
We shifted some core kit parts dimensions to suit those wire mesh drawers.
I
Not
bet,
by much, but a little bit. But then the classic problem, I don't know if you've ever had this problem with cabinets of like where you've got a drawer behind a door and the drawer clashes with the hinge, or the door doesn't open far enough for the drawer to open behind it. I've seem to stuff this up almost every time. Like I just forget about this issue. And so sure enough, it happened on this job too. And so the night before we installed the Bamboo, ran pretty much all night printing like these sort of little spacer offsets to push the mesh baskets hard to one side of each cavity so that it cleared the hinge hardware and door and stuff. So it was an issue we were aware of for a while, and we tried to solve it with different like crazy double hinge opening things, but ended up just going with the standard hinge in the end and offsetting the baskets.
Yeah.
But yeah, it worked out.
Sure.
And did it in American oak veneer, which we don't use that much. But whenever we use American oak veneer, I'm kind of struck by how kind of plastic or fake it looks, which I think
There was
is
so much that was made out of that fake, like veneer look of oak that still
Yeah.
exists in cabinetry across America.
What do you call it over there? Just white oak?
Red and white.
Red and
Red
white,
oak,
yeah.
white oak. Red's the
Yeah.
more traditional, like what people in the 90s had in their houses, or probably the 70s through the 90s, honestly. Yeah, white oak's definitely been the rage. I'd say it's probably on its way out finally, but it still gets used for a lot of things.
That'll be me later. Saddle me up. Ride me to town.
Do you have horses?
Yeah, that's why we've got a horse trailer.
Or do you just take your kangaroos around in this thing?
No, the kangaroos pull the horse trailer.
Wow.
I know.
It's like the Oregon Trail here.
You get the really big ones, saddle them up, a team of kangaroos. Justin jumps straight to image generation, I can tell. He's got that look in his eye. What else is happening? Do you have a Profit First button? Because I've got some updates.
Oh, we got to find it.
And now it's profit time.
So in
Thanks, Don.
the chaos of children and working from home and all of that, I have struggled to maintain the 10th and 25th rhythm. Like it's really been messing with my head. I haven't been quoting enough, so sales have been low. There's often not enough in the account for like payroll and bills and stuff. Anyway, it's all kind of gone downhill a bit, as I expected everything would during the period. But
Yeah.
what I've done to try and correct that is I've reverted to just a weekly cycle instead of trying to do the 10th and the 25th, which would fall on random days, obviously, of the month. So now I'm just trying to do distribution every Monday, which I'm finding it's been good for my scattered brain, underslept brain of just like, cool, is there $20,000 in the account on Monday? Yes or no? Okay, there's not. Right. What did I do wrong? Why? How did
Right.
or like get the Thursday and like, how am I going to top up the account by Monday? What do I need to close? What jobs do we need to finish? So we can get the second half of the payment, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I'm finding that weekly rhythm a bit more intuitive. And yeah, it's good. It's good.
That's what I would really like too. I mean,
What are you doing?
I could pull it off the automatic, but I basically have through Mercury have the options of like daily, by each transaction, maybe once a month.
Every
and twice,
transaction.
I do twice a month, which is yeah, right. Every transaction distribute. There'd be endless
How much
endless
reconciling?
things to reconcile. It's not that bad, like, because it's just twice a month now. But I think I'm just really I'm very profit heavy. I wish I'm very
Just rolling in profit. Yes.
heavy on product, I believe, at the moment, like inventory, especially, buying tooling. I think to sell definitely has like a cost burden to it, right? Like
Oh yeah.
it's not something we make, so it's constantly kind of like in and out and in and out. So I'm like struggling to balance the profit first distributions well. I did create
imagine
one
it's-
called Lease Roll, which we had talked about,
Oh yeah, cool.
which
I
is
imagine
nice. Has like our lease and our payroll.
Nice. Yeah, cool. And like buying tooling can't be like, you must have to buy reasonable quantities, right, to make that all work.
Yeah, it's pretty flexible, but yeah,
Right.
it's honestly, in a weird way, just kind of tough. It feels a little bit like every time you want to start a new product line, but each tool's kind of that way. Like you got to buy a certain quantity and you got to guess what the interest will be of that
Yeah.
certain tool, and then like some tools I thought would be more popular aren't, and then like one I threw on as a whim is the best seller. Like it's interesting. I'm also struggling and trying to figure out how to make the answer is always make more money, but just trying to make everything stabilize a little bit in terms of like expanding product lines, but also having enough money in the bank to do all the things you need to do otherwise. So
What's your best seller?
get that. Best seller, I believe, is the compression tools kind of are the thing in general. I think it's the 1/4-inch compression cutter, which is the 23 250C, and then the
Jesus.
26.5 mil. The 3/8, so it'd be 23 375C is also, I think
Yeah.
they're about tied
Yeah, nice.
for bestseller. I think we're gonna have some aluminum tooling soon. I'm looking at ball end mills. I have a video I shot that I want to finally finish from the end of 2022 on aluminum routing, kind of my second version of the aluminum routing video, and I
was
want to
gonna
have
ask,
our tooling ready for that.
Cool. On
Just
the
never
router or
edited
mill?
it. I don't know why. Router.
Router, yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that's a great niche.
Yeah, that's our most popular video to date is on YouTube, is the CNC routing aluminum,
Yeah.
and it trickles through the same amount of views every day, just keeps chugging along. Not crazy, but
I'm sure I've asked you this before, but I don't remember. Do you have an oil mister on the Shop Saver?
yeah, we have a kind of nothing like fancy, but it's a Amazon air powered, and we use isopropyl alcohol misted onto it because that evaporates really well and it performs just enough cooling effect, and it doesn't make any residue, which is amazing.
That's cool. Yeah, I can't remember what our
I think that
product
came from a
is.
comment on the first video.
Interesting. I can't remember what we put in ours, but it is slightly oily, and it does leave Yeah, like you got to wash the parts basically to get it off.
Biggest problem the first time was we used WD-40 and it worked. You had to hand squirt it, but the squirt bottle, because we didn't have a mister, and it just destroyed a swell board, which is not that expensive, but like,
Yeah, it
if
makes
you don't have
sense.
to do that, it's kind of nice.
Yeah. I find just the air blast is more important than the lubricant, almost like the cooling effect.
Yeah.
Of just like clearing
Right.
the chips, keeping the cutter cool is sort of the biggest thing. And then bonus if it's got a bit of alcohol or oil in it. But yeah, ours is more of an oil
Get it
mister,
drunk
I
a little
think.
bit.
Yeah. We only use vodka in ours, so it works beautifully.
Probably would work. It's funny. That's a video idea. We tried all the alcohols while routing aluminum. Both us
One
and the
for
router.
me, one for you.
Just shot glass.
Wonder what the M code for taking a shot is.
I was trying to figure out how to turn the light on and off at the mill the other day, and I asked GPT through code, because when I warm it up, I have to do a long warm up. I want to like have the light turn off or on, and it gave me some M code, and it was just not right at all. It didn't work, but I was kind of afraid to do it. I was like, do I just type in a code? What if this like self-destruct? Like what does M42 do? And surprisingly, nothing. So they didn't do anything. I got a real long follow up from I think the last time I was talking about making a Venn diagram of like if we should take a job or not, and I did it one day shortly after we talked about that, probably the week after, but you were on break at that point, so I put a link to it to share with anybody that's interested. But I printed this off and put it behind my desk, and it's just a 3-part Venn diagram of profit, easiness, and ideal work, and then there's little like bullets underneath each one, and kind of like as they intersect, I thought about how those might play into what the project or the client might be, and it's been pretty helpful. I've looked at it and I think swerved away from some projects I was thinking about quoting, and I was like, no, that's both hard and the profit isn't there. Like if you can't get 2 of these, is my new metric. If I can't get 2 of these things, I shouldn't take the job. If you get all 3, you've got the perfect project.
See, I love stuff like this, but like 30 seconds after I pinned it up behind my monitor, my brain just stopped
It's
seeing
gone.
it. And how do you
Right.
how do you just keep it in your mind's eye?
It's colorful.
Does it move? Is it on a stick? It waves around. Oh, it's huge.
I had
Alright,
this
okay.
printed better. Well, this one's bigger. The one I printed on my crafty laser printer is like letter sized or A sized. I don't know what size that is. I need to trim off the bottom, but this one will be a
Nice.
little more hard to miss. But I don't know.
That's
It's
cool.
just like any other thing. Yeah, it'll disappear if I forget. But I think for me, it's like these thoughts, as silly as it sounds, like just being able to say like, all right, well, how does it rank in these 3 things? And if it doesn't have an intersection between 2 of them to me, then yeah, it's not going to work.
That's cool. Yeah, I like it. It's a
So if
tricky
you want to
thing.
download it, I put a link.
Ah, awesome.
Try it out.
Nice. Yeah, my quoting is I'm so far behind with quotes at the moment, which is a little frustrating, but it's kind of been propped up by a couple of juicy, larger quotes, I suppose. Look, I have kept things moving, thankfully. Like it's funny, last week I had a really good sales week despite everything. And I think I sold like $30,000 worth of custom shells, which is fantastic. And then
Holy moly.
the 3
Nice.
sort of meaty jobs that made up the bulk of that, none of them paid their deposit. Like, come on,
Ugh.
people. What are you doing? And it was all for different, very legitimate reasons, but like Monday was coming. I was like, I've got so many bills to pay on Monday and there's not going to be any money in the account. Come on.
It's the worst.
And then it turned out that one of the deposits, it was from a council who we'd worked for years ago, like a local council. And they hadn't checked our bank account details in their system against our current invoice, and they'd paid $10,000 into an old account that no longer exists.
Oh.
Thankfully, it bounced, and they're sorting that out. But for a few days there, I was like, oh, crap. I know it's not really my problem because they didn't check the invoice, but also...
Yeah.
It'd be really good to have that cash right now. But
right. If we get that, you're going to laugh. We get that situation sometimes where people mail a check and there's no like way to know they do that unless they tell you. And I'd say it's probably like the third most popular way people pay us, but I just like don't know, right? It could, and you know, the American systems are just amazing. So it's like, it could be even in town, it could be like a day or it could be 3 days. You don't really know like where it got stuck for a day for no reason, or if our mail person just decided they weren't going to deliver today. Just all those fun things.
what do you do with them? Do you have to take them to the bank physically?
Checks. Just throw them on the ground. No, we didn't. You seriously don't get any checks at all?
Oh, no. I haven't seen a check for like 10 years.
No, I haven't taken one to a bank in a long time. There's the modernization of the check in America is you take a photo with your phone in their app. So you're basically like emailing it to them through their system.
Yeah.
And my like bank's actually amazing. It'll like most of the time deposit the same day, whereas in the past that was a week. You know.
Yeah.
So
yeah, amazing.
Silly.
No, they're really not a thing here. No, thankfully.
That's good.
Occasionally you'll get sent a check for like some government refund or like a universal health refund or some, sort of government agency. Occasionally will send you a check and then they sit in a pile of paperwork on your desk for 6 months. And you're like, oh, crap. Yeah, I really should take that to the bank.
And they're like, nope, too late.
But I don't think I've ever done one trading. Like, I never had to use one trading as a business. So yeah, just not a thing. Yeah. You been making any tunes?
They're just trying to, and now there seems to be we talked about this a little bit, a big kind of snafu where the app that we were using, as well as another one, got sued, and I would not be surprised if they don't exist very soon.
Yeah.
Because what I had heard from a professor on copyright law on a podcast was basically saying, yeah, they're screwed. Like this is definite infringement of whoever sued them. It checks 3 out of 4 boxes that you need to consider for copyright infringement. It was somebody basically tried to remake, I don't remember, Johnny something, like an old rock song. And it's pretty clearly that song, and it's not kind of influenced by it. And what also is interesting is you can kind of just go see what people used to generate that. And that's even more damning.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Right.
But the
it's unfortunate. It's kind of like
not going to go away, right?
No.
Cat's out of the bag.
No. Yeah. I don't know. It's either going to get more strict, like the ones that I tried to like test out when I was playing around with it early on was like, try to make a song that's in the style of this artist. And I was not trying to like sell it, but like realistically, you can go take that song and put it on Spotify, right? And make money on it. And it wouldn't let me do it. It wouldn't let me, like a well-known artist. This was like the first couple times we played with it. You showed me it and we played with it. Like it wouldn't let me try to make Blink-182 songs, right? I was trying to like make a mock kids song and it wouldn't let me do that. So it's like, I could see more of that where it's more strict, but ultimately it's just using existing music in the same way that a human does, but somehow the human still is better at like usually not getting sued for infringement, even though there isn't anything new anymore. Like,
No, that's right. I mean, I wonder if that will result in like a licensing deal where they,
That would be
Udio or
cool.
something, the same as TikTok, like they're just paying license for the use of that music, for having trained on it.
right.
Because even if
Right.
they get shut down, like the tech's proven, like someone's going
Right.
to spin it up in a different way with different agreements or a licensing deal or something. Like I feel like it's not going away, even
Mm-hmm.
if those companies do. But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
I still don't really know how I feel about it,
Yeah, I
to
don't
be
know.
honest. Like, I still find it
Sure.
a challenging thing, even though I play with it and fiddle with it and find it fun. Yeah.
I think we're both going to have this slap in the face of, if we were an artist, we would feel probably really hurt and attacked and scared for our career, probably, if you're experiencing how good some of these songs can be today based on like a 10-second generation. And I think that, for me, I've thought about this a lot. For me, that's going to be when you can just 3D model something from prompt.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be my like shit, which is like absolutely possible now, I'm sure. It's just there's not enough people that care about it probably for them to put it into a commercial product yet
Yep.
as like a GPT thing. Like, there's no way it's not possible if we can make videos and music and all these
Yeah.
other things. It's pretty easy in comparison.
Yeah. Been the update to Claude came out recently, Claude Sonnet, which is like a sort of fast, powerful competitor to like GPT, OpenAI, and it was just getting really good reviews. And so I thought, I've always dabbled with Claude and I've always liked how it writes. It's been sort of more naturally aligned with my writing style and stuff in the past, but I haven't used it for ages. So I saw these good reviews and I spun up a paid account in Claude for a month just to see. I'll play it off against GPT-4o, which I've been using heavily, and see who comes out the winner, who gets my $20 a month at the end of the month.
Right.
And I've been sort of, deliberately making them sort of compete for my attention and sort of see who can get the best, putting the same identical prompts into both of them, seeing who gets the better result and stuff. And Claude's like, I don't think Claude's going to get there because it's quite defensive and sort of it's much more safety aligned. Like it tells me off.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, whereas GPT-4o just kind of takes it in its stride. Like if I make some poor taste remark or like call it something unnecessarily in frustration, it kind of just takes it in its stride. It's like, oh, Jeb, come on, let's get back to work. Whereas like Claude gets real like, I will not work under these conditions. You take that back.
That's pretty funny because I'm pretty forceful with my GPT.
But I think the biggest sort of winning card for me is in just the transcription. Like I'm totally hooked on the transcription in GPT-4 or whatever, like that product. Like just being able to hit that little microphone button and record.
Using the phone app.
Yeah, and the desktop app just records straight into it. It just really suits my workflow because I can't touch type. Again, I think that's probably one of the biggest factors is that I can't quickly input my ideas and thoughts unless I've got that fast voice transcription. So I think, yeah, it's pretty clear to me where I'll hang around. But Claude Sonnet is really...
I told you this, but I was always a decently strong user of like Siri on my phone, but having a baby amped that to like 10 times more than normal, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm like changing the diaper, have my AirPods in, I'm like, gotta text somebody back or like turn on the light. There's all these little things that like trying to find more ways to like, how can I not have to use my hands because I'm holding a baby?
I do a lot of that too, but I find I think this was your idea that maybe it's my accent that Siri struggles with, but I find Siri's transcription
Yeah,
really
wonder about that.
inaccurate. Yeah, really terrible, frustrating.
And it's not that, like, I think you have a very clean diction. I think I just wondered if it's so strongly trained on like American English for some reason that I don't know. It'd be interesting if Brits also have a similar kind of like challenge with dictation,
Don't know.
or if it's been trained in certain ways too.
Yeah.
Could just be a numbers game too. There's what, 20 some million of you and 300 and some million of us trying it out, and they just don't have enough like training instances there. It's not as good yet because of that. I'm not sure.
Maybe. Yeah. Don't know.
That's one of our new tools being tested right now.
Oh, cool.
This ought to be interesting. Well, I guess I don't mind trying. We've been trying to test out some solid wood cutting tools, and it's been challenging because I thought I really had down a good recipe for how to cut certain wood features. Not plywoods, not veneered, and that recipe doesn't always work in all things, right? And when you're trying to make something so that other people can use it like you did the best way possible, you don't want it to bark kind of sometimes, half the time. And it's plywood is one thing. It's like a completely different animal because of how like linear wood is and how you cut it, and it's challenging, very challenging.
More challenging, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Some of the stuff I've seen you do in Solid is crispy as very nice. Some of those projects you've shared.
Yeah, and I thought for sure this is part of why I was making that video, trying to make a video on it, and I didn't get the results I was wanting to, and I had set it up as like the video is like, oh, I'm gonna get these perfect results here, watch this. I was like, shit, that's chipped out. Like, why is it chipping out? I don't understand why. Was there a chip in the tool? Like, is it the wood? Try something else.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're dealing with the variable of wood too, right? At that point.
Right.
The stock character.
The audience here knows. I guess we should also welcome, if there's new listeners, I think we got a decent amount from me being on With Intolerance from Dylan.
Listen to it twice.
I've also stumbled upon lightweight plywood lately. We had somebody asking for a quote, and I didn't know that was a thing that wasn't like balsa wood, basically. Seems to be fairly similar, and it's honestly, I bet it's mostly glue related into why it's lighter.
Yeah, right. Is it poplar?
It's gotten pretty nice. Sounds good. No, I'll have to find it. Yeah, ultralightply.com.
Cool.
This is hot goss.
Oh, gosh.
Sweetie,
Didn't mean to click that.
When I laugh, the horse trailer shakes.
Full Foley. I don't know. This website's not loading. It's delightful. Ultralight plywood says it's made out of. It's 40% lighter to similar high-grade plywoods. It's less than 1/2 an inch. A sheet of 3/4 inch lightweight weighs less than 1/2 inch of Baltic birch. Lose the weight, save on freight.
Lose the weight.
They haven't paid us for this. I wish.
Yeah, cool. I'll check it out.
Currently,
Currently, I can't load
No
any other
footballs.
pages, or you turn into potato cam. So I'll check it out later.
All right. Sounds good. Probably head off soon here. It's good to
Yeah,
see you. Well, I'll
It's
see you
very good
next
to
week.
See you, sir. Yeah,
Or-
let's do it. Let's make a
Are
habit
you-
of it.
Thinking you can get back into a regular thing.
Yep. Let's do it.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's good to chat.
In Horse Studio.
Yeah, why not? No, I'd like to spend more time in here, in the pony truck. It's nice. I like it. I just need to deal with the
hope you don't.
blazing winter sun, but otherwise it's good.
I am shocked at how much sound reduction stuff do you have in there? Because I thought it was just going to sound horrible.
Very little, but I'm not using a condenser mic. This is a dynamic microphone, so it's not picking up too much room.
I see.
I think if I had the usual mic, I'd be in a tin can.
Right.
But it's okay.
Right.
I'll do my the best Mr.
All
Ed
right.
impression. Get some peanut butter out and hey. Goodbye, Justin. Bye. Nice to see you.
Did that not even work?
It all worked.
You hearing that?
No, what?
The ding? What happened to the ding?
Oh, I didn't hear the ding. No, trademark ding.
Oh, it's playing into my black hole. Here. How about this? It's not working. Our ding's broken.
It's made even better by you sounding
God.
like a robot. Quick. 59 minutes and 49 seconds. Stop it.
End it.